That bunch of kids rode like no one else who's ever come through here. Welcome to Should You Watch This with a Popcorn Priest, a weekly podcast where movie enthusiasts, current and ex-movie projectionists, new and old friends, and now a couple of boys in the boat take the time to talk about a movie that we just watched and answer that very question, should or shouldn't you watch this? Believe in the impossible. Believe in each other.
You still owe a balance on this semester. I can give you 2 weeks.
What's that about making some money?
The royalty. You get a job, cheap place to live.
Based on the incredible true story.
He said there was a job included.
Now here's a question those Ivy League coaches never get.
From director George Clooney.
9 seconds under the course record.
This Christmas.
Olympic year this year.
Olympic year. I didn't realize.
A team of underdogs.
Boys, that boat. Sorry, guy. Won't lay it down, coach.
Will make history.
The Americans have the 1936 Olympics.
Show them what I already know.
The Boys in the Boat. Rated PG-13.
Joining me today, our special guests, the coxswain for this pod, JJ.
Yo, thanks for having me back, Popcorn.
Yeah, welcome back. A recurring guest, I would say, from JJ. And for the first time on Should You Watch This is Pocock Pool, a.k.a. Johnny Utah. Welcome to the show, my man.
Thank you for having me. Big fan of the show. It's an honor to be here.
Yeah, some backstory here, if I may. Oprah is not the only one that has a book club. The Popcorn Priest belongs to a prestigious book club that may or may not be called the Boys in the Book Club. And this was the selection of none other than JJ himself. And Johnny Utah also belongs to this Ivy League group of gentlemen. Book clubs are not easy. As we are one man down in our book club, reading is sometimes tough, it seems. And some even more backstory, we also belong to an elite group of soldiers of fortune.
Tier 1 unit.
Correct. Affectionately called the Inglorious Utah Bastards. And we have a long-standing Call of Duty League night that has been going on longer than the Olympics themselves. And we invite anyone to go up against us, as we will most likely demolish the lobby as well as steal each other's loot. So rub some sperm whale oil on your boat, get your strap-on megaphone to your lips, and hop in our boat as we all become the Boys in the Boat from 2023. The details for this one. The descriptions say, a 1930s set story centered on the University of Washington's rowing team from their Depression-era beginnings. What do you guys think about the description?
I like it. I think maybe they should have mentioned the Olympics, competing for, the Olympic dream.
I agree. I think that's an addition that IMDb missed.
Yeah, because then I'm in 36 Olympics, I'm in.
Yeah, I like that. Directed by George Clooney, director of such hits as Leatherheads, Monuments Men, and The Ides of March. Top billed stars are Joel Egerton, Callum Turner, and Peter Guinness. Runtime of 2 hours and 3 minutes, rated PG-13. Genre on Rotten Tomatoes says history/drama/biography/sports. Compared to IMDb's coming of age /docudrama/water sport /biography/drama/sport. I mean, is water sport a new category of movies?
Some people are a fan.
Is this even a water sport? I thought it'd be like swimming or water polo.
Yeah, you're not. I mean, you're on the water. You're not in the water. I just like to include it because it's silly sometimes.
I appreciate all the slashes.
Speaking of IMDb, they give it a rating of 7.0 out of 10 from 26,000 reviews. Rotten Tomatoes gives this a 57% from 157 critic ratings and 97% from 2,500 audience ratings.
I knew the audience would be higher than the critics on this one for sure.
Yeah,
that adds up right there. That adds up for sure.
97% is high, dude.
I think part of that is people that watch this movie are kind of attracted to this type of movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of one of those like feel good type, almost like an old Disney movie, like Miracle or, something like that.
Absolutely.
Where to watch this right now, you can stream this on Amazon Prime, or you might have to rent it, or better yet, not even sure if this exists, but buy the physical media if you can. Then you'll always have it. All right, gentlemen, or should I say boys, are you guys ready for Popcorn Reviews the Reviews?
So ready.
All right, JJ's familiar with this. Johnny, I know you've listened, like you said in the intro. I only selected, because there wasn't a ton of reviews at the time I did my research. I only have 2 1 out of 10s and 2 10 out of 10s.
Ah, okay.
How would you like to receive them?
Let's start with the 2 out of 10s.
Oh, you want to do the 2 10 out of 10s first and end on the 1 out of 10s? Bold.
Yeah, I think it'd be kind of funny.
Bold move. Bold move. I like it. All right. First 10 out of 10. A movie worth seeing, says Brewer 56. After an in-law sister saw it and just loved it, I figured why not go see it? I know nothing about the sport, but the way the story was told and the fact there was no big name types in the movie, it made it a lot more believable. As a history nut, I knew about a lot of countries that beat Hitler and become his athletes that lost. Yes, the lines were a tad flat and a lot of backstory would have been better on all the boys. I caught myself getting really into the training aspect of the boys. It was so enjoyable to watch a movie that was more about the effort and not about who could make the most money. Go see it. P.S. I use a rowing machine to try to keep the fat down. 10 out of 10.
This guy's got experience. Okay.
Yeah, he's a boy in the boat.
He's a boy in the machine.
Oh, yeah, boy in the machine. Yeah.
He gets it.
Okay, first 1 out of 10. A movie with no point, says Smanson 54. I walked away from this movie saying, oh, that was a thing that happened. Completely no point to this movie. It makes you feel nothing. There is no story, no interesting dialogue, overacted, bizarre camera angles, and the movie does nothing well. I love an underdog story. If you want better writing, plot, character development, you'd find it in The Mighty Ducks or Little Giants.
Wow.
Whoa. That's a deep cut.
Both great movies.
Was this a Tin Man before he got his heart? So cold.
You knew what was going to happen, and it was just juvenile. I mean, they were Disney movies made for children, but they didn't bore you to sleep twice. This one did. I will forever be waiting for something to happen in this movie. 1 out of 10.
It was a true story.
Yeah, like
it was a true story. You can't compare it to fiction.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that's why I put these in here, because they're so hilarious to me. All right.
That's good. That's good.
Next 10 out of 10. This one's a little long. Wow. It's a remarkable story, says Heidi Miller, 28439. It's never been more clear to me that each of us sees something different from their view of the same theater scenes. I just read a few reviews from folks that thought this movie was unremarkable. I found it remarkable. From beginning to end, it's remarkable that a young, poverty-stricken orphan man was exposed to the experience of competing for an Olympic medal.
Yeah.
I've spent time in rowboats myself. So, okay, so now you're an expert. So this subject really interested me. I never competed in a rowing competition, but I did have an opportunity to use a really good fast rowboat for a few years for free.
Sweet.
Thanks. I used to go rowing by myself all the time. I loved it. Rowing is very good exercise, and it's thrilling to race through the waters and the waves. Being on the water is refreshing after the heat and the grime of the city. It can be very quiet and peaceful on the water. But make no mistake. Is this a review of rowing? Of boats? Or is this a review of the movie? Anyone that has worked around boats really knows this. The wind can change in a few seconds, and suddenly a blast of wind, rain, and huge waves changes the peaceful scene into something deadly. You learn very quickly to respect and fear the water. I think the director did a good job of showing this to us. I think it was remarkable that George Clooney did not include sex scenes.
Whoa.
Most of the Heidi doesn't like sex scenes, apparently.
Nope.
I think the director did a good job of showing this to us. I think it was remarkable. Most of the directors and script writers nowadays do include the sex scenes. The public seems to expect it. I kept hoping they would refrain from displaying the obligatory sex scenes, and found myself so relieved when he didn't. You know, sex changes everything. I think it would have ruined the whole film if Joyce and Joe had extramarital sex. I'm going to stop now before I post a spoiler and ruin the fun for you. I do hope you go see this film in the theater. It was just grand on the big screen, 10 out of 10. Do you think Heidi Miller is 72 years old?
I think she's remarkable.
Remarkable.
Oh, sorry. I had to. It was longer than normal, but it was just made me laugh. Maybe it was just when I was researching late at night.
No, that was amazing. That was hilarious. And now we also have 2 positive reviews of rowers, if you will. One on the machine, one in a boat, you know?
Yeah, we've covered all the bases here as we get into this review. And because of Johnny Utah, we're going to end on a low note. This is our last 1 out of 10. OMG, what a terrible movie. Says Sagan's. Oh my gosh, what does this say? Sagging with Slim. Okay. It's as if George Clooney just felt that he's so good looking that he couldn't just find some no talent, no name actors and try to pass off this trash. Holy cow, is this bad? For what should be a dramatic story, there's no drama. There's no story. Just random shots of very good looking people doing terrible acting under terrible directing. Stay in your lane, George, and sell coffee machines. This is excruciatingly bad, and not just because I studied film as a college minor. There are no establishing shots. It's just straight to Smoochville with the way to obvious love interest. I'm 20 characters short for this review, and I don't care. 1 out of 10. Jeez, sagging with Slim? I don't...
Sounds like he hates George Clooney and how handsome he is.
Yeah, what a weird shot at George there.
He is handsome, and we should like George Clooney. I like George Clooney.
And his coffee machines he's selling, apparently.
Yeah, he's good at that, too. I really love the I don't drink coffee, and I love the coffee commercials that he makes. They're so beautiful. I don't agree with you, sagging with Slim. That's it. That's it for our reviews. You guys want to get into should or shouldn't you watch this?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right, 5 reasons why you should watch Boys in the Boat. I'm going to give you 5. I would love for you to add on to whatever I have here. Number 1, if you like sports movies, this is a good selection for that, right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Good reason.
Thank you. Number 2.
Water sport, if you want to get into specifics.
Yeah, if you want to get into the genre of water sports, this is that. Number 2, if you've read the book, then you for sure should watch this. And I should say that we mentioned earlier that we are in a book club and we selected and read this book prior to watching this movie. So I think that's a really great reason, probably the best reason to watch this if you've read the book.
Yeah, and a lot of times you'll read a book and then watch the movie and be disappointed by the movie's interpretation, but there may be a few minor critiques here or there, but overall, I really enjoyed the movie and how, it represented the book. So if you like the book, I think you'll really like the movie.
Yeah, and I think you would enjoy the movie more by reading the book, and also I think you would enjoy the book more after seeing the movie almost.
Yeah, agreed. Because then either way, just, the visuals that, they put into the movie, beautiful scenes, it just gives you all of those action scenes and all that stuff that's in the book gives you amazing visuals for. So they go hand in hand.
Yeah, I agree. Number 3, if you like an underdog story, this is for you. Number 4, if you like Hitler to be in your movie, this has that. So if you're missing Hitler in your movies, you got him here. And finally, the title says it all, The Boys in the Boat. It delivers that in spades. Any other reasons that I missed?
Those are all good reasons.
Yes.
I would add one. It's an inspiring true story. The fact that it was true and it's just not fiction. Remarkable story, University of Washington, 1936. Group of kids that come from poverty. They're underdogs. They're in the JV boat and they go win gold at the Berlin Olympics, under Hitler's eyes. So, the fact that that's a true story, it's an incredible story.
Yeah.
The fact that that's true.
When I was reading the book along with you guys, I was sitting there thinking, this reads like a movie.
Yeah.
And you would think that, oh man, they're just making this up to have more tension or more like even drive the underdog story even further. And it's not. It's like that's what happened. And in fact, there's a lot that it's taken out of that makes it more of an underdog story if you've read the book, in my opinion.
Yeah, agreed.
Any other reasons?
The last reason I would say was, and we kind of mentioned this before, it's kind of an old-fashioned movie. It's like a 90s movie.
Mm-hmm.
Not pandering to a certain group. It tells a good story. It's mid-budget. It's not indie. It's not a blockbuster. But just like a conventional, good-hearted movie.
Yeah, I like that. I like the fact that you said that because there's a place for all the different people, and so you're represented and all the different stuff that you could talk about. This is just a story. We don't need to get into politics. We don't get into anything else. We can just enjoy a good story that actually, like Johnny just brought up, is true. I like that about it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Really feel good story. Kind of a throwback almost to like a 90s kind of feel good movie, like Field of Dreams or something like that. You just walk away kind of like inspired and just uplifted.
Yeah. And you can watch this with your whole family. Like my kids watch it with me. And usually when I'm doing podcasts, I'm like, oh yeah, they can't watch Die Hard. So it's cool that everyone can watch it.
Can watch it lazy Sunday with, grandma.
Yeah.
In the afternoon.
Yeah. Your wife or a significant other would like this, or whomever.
And one thing to add in this section we kind of talked about is how visually stunning it is. The historical context, you get to see the Great Depression, the Pacific Northwest, right? Nazi Germany, the Olympics, all of the rowing scenes. It was the Shell House, right? The University of Washington, seeing the boats, seeing the oars. It was a beautiful movie.
Yeah, and I was really impressed by like you said, the cinematography, but also the way they use CGI to really paint the canvas of the scenery that's usually probably not there or has changed. And so it felt like a 1930s period piece because of that part of the movie, I think. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Let's move into By the Numbers.
For God's sake, just give me the damn number!
All right, box office haul. What do you guys think the budget was for? I mean, JJ just brought it up on I would say, I agree, a mid budget film. What do you think the budget was?
Probably what, like 50 million?
I'm so bad at this. I'm gonna go $50 million and $1.
You guys, dude, that was pretty great. It's 40 million, so you guys are pretty close. JJ wins. That Price is Right.
Nice.
But yeah, 40 million. And what do you guys think it brought in? Because it was in the box office for a bit, but also mainly streaming on Amazon Prime.
Probably didn't do well in Germany. I don't know. I bet it would double that. So I'll say like 80, 90.
I'll go $90 million and $1, please.
It's actually kind of sad. It only made 55 million.
Ooh.
Oh. Yeah.
Should have taken the under.
Yeah.
It still made money.
Yeah, and we don't know with the streaming landscape these days. We don't know how much, profit that Amazon's going to get because of this, having the streaming rights to this. Yeah. I don't know. What was interesting that I found out that's related to the budget is producer and director George Clooney told Forbes that he gave his salary back before the production finished under budget, and his salary later was returned. The similarly titled book by Daniel James Brown, on which the movie is based, was a #1 New York Times bestseller when it came out in 2013 and sold over 3 million copies. Currently, it's in 5th place on the Amazon nonfiction charts because of the film. And The Boys in the Boat was first screened at the reopened SIFF Cinema downtown in Seattle on December 7th, 2023. The screening was attended by a number of students from Sequim. Is that how you say it? Sequim? Washington?
You got it.
I don't know.
Kind of sounds like a sexual term, Sequim, Washington, but that's where Joe Rance was from. This was followed by the film's official world premiere at the Samuel Goldwyn Theater in Los Angeles on December 11th, 2023. And that's why it's in here, because it has numbers in it, gentlemen or boys.
Very nice.
I have one more number. If there's anything, I'm going to leave this to the end. Is there anything you want to talk about that's, I mean, it's history, so how can we spoil it? But anything you want to talk about before we move to next week's spoiler-free zone?
I got some numbers.
All right.
So I was watching like a behind the scenes, and I guess the crew for this movie did 5 months of training to get, all the rowing in unison.
Wow.
Correct. I was going to bring it up next week. I have a little bit more trivia about that and a nice behind the scenes that I think is interesting. But I like that.
Yeah. And then $1, that's a number, right? That's how much the shell house was bought for. The University of Washington bought the shell house for $1 from the Navy.
Wow. What a buy.
Yeah, it's a good steal.
Oh, man. I looked that up. Here it is. The Associated Students of University of Washington, it was built as a U.S. Navy seaplane hangar during World War I.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when they, like JJ just mentioned, was sold to the UW for $1.
It's a good buy.
Yeah.
My last number is 46 strokes per minute. So, spoiler, we've already know that they achieved gold in Berlin.
Correct.
We already talked about it. Yep.
But the winning stroke rate was the 46 strokes per minute. And so the crew, they trained for 5 months. This was actually shot in order, which I like when movies do that.
I do too.
So when they're actually doing the race at Berlin in the movie, the crew actually reached the 40 strokes per minute.
Oh, that's awesome.
They only did it for a couple of seconds, I think. I don't know how long they did it, but they actually reached the top stroke rate, which is kind of cool.
I was going to save it for next week, but I might as well play it. This is very relevant to what we're talking about. It's a minute and 20 seconds, but it really paints the picture of what these boys in the boat for the movie did for the boys in the boat in the book.
The starting gun is up. Oars to front stops.
Ready? Row!
It was really important for us to get rowing right.
Just drop the blade in, Thomas. Okay, well done, lads.
Rowing is the ultimate team sport. Everybody has to do exactly the same thing at exactly the same time.
Go! Go!
For the first 6 weeks, we were training.
Training started in a controlled environment in this tank where everybody just figured out the rhythm, and then that transitioned onto the river.
We get picked up at 6:30.
It was wake up, row, eat, sleep, repeat.
Wet and cold. Best part of the day right here.
A massive amount of rowing on the River Thames. It's also a lot of conditioning work in the gym.
One more.
It's like having 8 people try to learn how to drive at 100 miles an hour, sharing one steering wheel.
So when George and I went to go see them the first time, and they're rowing, I mean, they were horrible.
It was just like paddles going everywhere.
Relax those shoulders.
About 4 weeks later, they were rowing as a team.
That's looking good, lads.
We would train whenever we had days off throughout filming. And
We push ourselves and push each other to go as fast as we can.
We shot in order. So by the time we got to the race in Germany, our kids could stay in the game.
Give me 46!
Yesterday, we got to 46, which is the amount of strokes per minute you have in the boat, which is what the boys did in the Olympics to win the race. And I couldn't be prouder of all of us.
For all the people who didn't believe in you! As one! As one!
I mean, I got chills listening to that, man. It's so sick.
So good. And how good were the encouraging chants from the coxswain, in the movie? I mean, during the races, especially during the gold medal race. Yeah, incredible.
Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up, JJ. That dovetails right into that. And I think it's amazing that there's such parallel between the two crews, the real crew and then the one that played them. So really cool.
I got just a couple of numbers. So just thought it was really interesting. This is 8-man crew, 2,000 meter rowing event. That was the Olympic event that they were in. The boat is 60 feet long, right? That's the number, 60 feet.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, let me check.
Pretty long.
Yeah, that is a number.
That's a number. That's verified. Check.
Verified.
Each oar was about 9 to 10 feet long. That's another number. And weighed about 12 to 14 pounds each. And they rowed 2,000 meters in their gold medal race in 6 minutes and 25.4 seconds, which is like, I don't know if I could run that fast. I don't know if anyone could run that fast.
Yeah, it's impressive, dude.
I don't know what 2,000 meters is compared to miles to give you like a comparison, but that's pretty fast. Also, my last number, 75,000 spectators. That's the number of people that watched the Olympic rowing finals live at the regatta course in Berlin, including, of course, Adolf Hitler. And this was in the book as well. So that many people, this was such a popular sport that there would be more people at these races than like big college football games. Of course, this was before the NFL and things like that, but that's about the size of like an NFL stadium watching these guys row.
Yeah. When we were reading the book, I was astounded by the numbers that they kept bringing up in all the races, that the qualifying race and the Poughkeepsie races, the championship races, the amount of infrastructure of like trains and everything was just built around this sport. It was so popular, like you said, and everyone was just enthralled by it. It's amazing.
That's one thing I think the movie didn't do well, is really show how popular and big the sport was.
I agree.
Yeah.
It did have like some good crowd size and whatnot, but there's a way to show that how popular it really was back then, with some newspapers or
just
larger CGI crowds or something.
Yeah, have some newspaper clipping, fade in. Crowds come out in droves to see the boys in the
largest
boat.
Crowd size ever, which is what happened at the event for rowing,
Correct.
I just looked this up. So 2,000 meters is 1.2 miles. So, imagine running 1.2 miles in 6 minutes and 25 seconds to give you an idea of like the speed of how fast this 60-foot boat is going that they're rowing,
It's awesome. I have one more number, okay? Body count.
What?
I usually put body count. I usually put body count in movies. Usually I'm watching action movies like Rambo or Predator, but I have the stats are here. There was one, Hitler. He died. Also, Joe's mom, R.I.P. I would call that a second body count. And then maybe if we want to count Thula, Dirty Thula. Three dead in this film.
I'm fine with two of them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which two you can guess?
I think Thula should have been buried in an unmarked grave.
Yeah.
And for you listeners, if you watch the movie, you're not even going to know who Thula is. You got to read the book and to appreciate these comments. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen.
I got one more. I got one more number.
Whoa! I thought you said you had your last one.
I have one more.
Okay.
So
bring it.
This is 0% is my last number. This is how much I like the horror character they created to play Joyce. What did they do to Joyce?
Really? This is a beef. This should be a next week's beef.
Yeah, this is the beef for me. For me too. But
all right. We can come back. We can come back and beef, but that's my number, 0%. That's how much I liked her character. Because if you read the book, she's a sweet angel. She's loving. She's a respectable lady.
I think we should and can and will talk about Joyce in next week, or the actress who portrayed Joyce, potentially in beefs. You know what's funny is this could be the first time on Should You Watch This where Joyce, the person, could be in redemption, and Joyce, the actor who played Joyce, could be in beefs. That's crazy.
And numbers.
And in numbers, 0% liked by Johnny Utah.
Yeah.
That's where we're at here.
Checking all of them.
Man, this is blowing my mind. At this point, there will be spoilers up ahead, so if you want to watch and then come back next week and join us for our breakdown of My Life is Very Hard, the Joe Rant story from 2023. I am on the social medias. I dare you to message the great Popcorn Priest at Popcorn Priest. I love movies and would love it if you'd share the love. Share this with the movie lover in your life for the cost of a cup of coffee or some peanuts that you might buy it at the Washington rowing event. You can help the Popcorn Priest support his movie addiction and allow him to keep giving you these labor of love reviews by visiting patreon.com/Popcorn Priest to see how you can help. Lastly, the easiest way to support the show and the most free is like and subscribe. And give us a 5-star review. Easier than beating the Germans when they cheat. As always, thanks for listening, and thanks to my special guests. Our coxswain for the show, JJ, and Mr. Pocock Poole, a.k.a. Johnny Utah. Thanks, gentlemen.
Thanks, Popcorn.
Join us next week for part 2 of Hitler is a Big Cheat, amongst other things, from 2023. We'll see you guys next week.